Okay, so today we are going to cover another topic, week 3. We only have 2 topics left. So today we are going to take a look at diversity, only one topic. And then throughout this class, I'm going to share with you some of the company that practicing it, and some of company and industry are not practicing it. And then we are going to talk about the most of the discussion today would be on the corporate governance, and then for the board members and so on. Okay. So I most probably I will finish the class earlier, because this is not a heavy topic. And then I have example over here, and then we can take a look at it. So it would be a quick class. Okay, so managing diversity, introduction to human diversity and vulnerability. I think we all are aware that it's very important for organization to have to employ employee from diverse background. So the definition of diversity includes a range of human differences such as race, ethnicity, gender, age, religion, disability, and socioeconomic status. And then the important in the workplace, diversity, it brings varied perspective, foster innovation, and improve decision making and problem solving. So if you have learned before this, that each and every individual, they have their own perceptions, individual thinking styles, their own ideas, perspective, and so on. So one of the benefit, if we can hire a lot of people from diverse background, we can see from different perspective, we can get different ideas. We can foster whatever ideas that they have in their, for example, in India, apa panggil itu, origin country, ataupun something that is practices in their institution before this. Okay. Vulnerability in diversity, how certain groups may be more vulnerable or marginalized in the workplace, the role of management in recognizing and addressing these vulnerabilities to ensure equity and inclusion. Yeah, even though that this is a concept that is well known and well practiced, but many of companies are still not doing this. And then with diversity as well, it comes a lot of challenge. So it's very important for management to find out ways to cater this challenge, to address this vulnerability, to ensure that equity and inclusion is practiced in workplace. All right. So when we talk about diversity, it's not just in terms of age, gender, religion. Okay, it includes as well, for example, like disability, and nowadays that people talk more about is races and sexual orientation and so on. Okay, because this relate more with rights, okay, human rights to be employed, human rights to be treated fair, and then in research, okay, findings says that this diversity can contribute to a company ataupun organization performance, because it can help in the company social economic environment in company. And then company can make use of this diverse experience, diverse background, and then from various experience as well, it comes with various skill, knowledge, and so on. Okay, so this topic, I'm going to touch more on the role of board, okay, in corporate. So I'm going to touch a little bit on the role of board of directors to make sure that from the top, they do ataupun they practice this equality, non-discrimination, inclusivity, and so on. Okay, so in the boardroom, diversity, it sets a leadership example. Okay, to send a signal to all employees about equal opportunity. So that's why it's very important from the top when they employ ataupun when they hire, when they have a various board composition from the top, so it does send a signal to employee that in the company we are practicing equal opportunities and so on. Okay, so one of the initiative, okay, I'm talking about Malaysia. One of the initiative in Malaysia in terms of diversity, gender lah. Okay, I'm talking about gender equality ataupun gender equality and equity. It is advised ataupun it is promoted that at least in your board composition, it must include at least 30% of female, okay, in your board. The percentage of number of women in boardroom, you can see that in a lot of company, it is increasing, but the growth are in a slow rate lah. Okay, but it is increasing compared to before this. The reason why, because there are a lot of research say that women, they face difficulties in getting promoted, in getting high position, decision-making position in corporate due to just as simple as their gender, right? A lot of accusation, misconception about women will not stay in the workplace after getting married, after starting a family. Meaning that the company, they won't hire them because not for long term lah. Okay, it is there is a misconception about women will not stay in a company for so long after getting married and starting a family. Okay, because they will be apa orang panggil, menguruskan their family lah instead of staying in the workplace, staying in the corporate. However, okay, this is not supposed to be, it does not, tak boleh stereotype like this, because we have a number of successful women, successful female leaders who still have families, but still work, okay, and can juggle between both, just like men. All right, and then when we talk about taking care of family, so it is actually a two-party job, not just one gender. Okay, both of them should take care of family. That's why nowadays, instead of they put focusing on hiring women ke apa ke, they started to practice, companies started to practice all-inclusive workplace environment where men as well can have the same benefit, for example, but not maternity. Ada juga, okay, maternity, not, but dia tak panggil maternity leave lah. I've read some of the companies, they do give like a break for male employee after they just got their child. Okay, so this is to help to take care of the family. So in a way that what the message is, message yang dia cuba sampaikan ialah taking care of family is not supposed to be only women's job, but also a male job lah, ataupun husband, father. So companies started to doing that. Okay, this is what inclusivity means. Maksudnya when you apply one practice, and then the rest can get the same benefit as well. Okay, if you notice, hari tu, okay, paternity leave, yeah, okay, hari tu, our government has mentioned that this is still in progress. This is just apa orang panggil tu, something to look into. So our government mentioned that they do look into offering shorter working hours for female workers, and then the social media is bombarded with a lot of opinions. So what about why only female? Okay, why it's our job to take care of family? What about the male workers and so on? So why not it's their job as well? So if female workers got a shorter hour, does it mean like they have to shorter pay? So shorter pay, lower pay. So if they get lower pay, so it defeats the purpose of having, you know, women to have equal pay, to have apa orang panggil tu, the income gap, okay, companies try to minimize it, but let's say if you offer lower hours and then lower pay, masalah tak settle kan? So yes, the price of equality. Therefore, this is not easy. This is not an easy task. It should be whatever policy that company is doing ataupun our government is doing, make sure that it is all inclusive lah. A lot of research, a lot of things to apa orang panggil take a look into before come up with this policy. Sebab dia akan backfire kan, macam our government should listen to people's opinion. Tak kisah whether it's right or wrong or personal opinion, that this is important to come up with a good policy. Okay, I wanted to show you, I think I have put it here. Yeah. Which one? Okay, so this is a policy for Bursa Malaysia, a policy on diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we learned about corporate governance the other day, last week. Right, so MCCG revised and include participation of women in decision-making position does not only apply to board position alone, but should be extended to the member of senior management. So it stated here, promoted by the MCCG, clearly state the participation of women in decision-making position should not be focused on board positions alone, but should be broadened to include members of senior management as the same benefits apply. Thus, the board should establish gender diversity policy to support the participation of women in board as well as senior management. And then, so you can see that here, Bursa Malaysia Berhad not only acknowledged the importance of participation of women in senior management, but also recognized the significance of diversity, equity, and inclusion in attaining effective strategic objective to enhance sustainable growth and development in promoting better corporate governance within the group. So later we are going to see an example of company that is awarded with a good corporate governance. And then we are going to take a look at how diverse is their board, and then what are the practices that they do lah in workplace. And then the policy on board composition, having regard to the mix of skills, independent. So this is a set of gender diversity. You are talking about the experience, the knowledge diversity as well. So this one is referring to the mix of skill of the board director. And then Bursa believe in recognizing and retaining high performance, talented and dedicated employees with the required merit, knowledge, experience, expertise, competency, professionalism, and so on. All right. And another thing that is very important, but this is not regarding diversity lah. Okay. The qualification, the integrity of a company to hire someone with the right qualification, the right skill, all right, not hiring people based on any political allies ke, ataupun based on chronism, based on apa satu lagi tu, chronism and apa satu lagi, I forgot, nepotism. Okay, nepotism and so on. All right. So this policy will be aligned with UN Guiding Principle on Business and Human Rights, where they provide a guideline on corporate governance, and then to address the implementation and protection of human rights against race of discrimination. So this is what I meant just now, because human, they have a right to not be discriminated, right? Not be discriminated in terms of gender, ability, race, and so on. What else? The selection and appointment of employees and senior management shall take into merit, skill, knowledge, expertise, experience, and then ethnicity, gender, okay, with the objective of maximizing the performance, efficiency, and effectiveness of the program. So this their policy, okay, by Bursa. It says here that is an essential elements to measure good corporate governance of an effective and well-functioning organization and cultivating a sense of belonging for everyone. Okay, so Bursa Malaysia embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion policy to ensure that organization is chaired by a diverse group of employees in terms of age, ethnicity, and gender. And then refers to all attributes of characteristics that make individual different from each other, which include but not limited to age, gender experience, education background, expertise, country origin, disability, race, nationality, culture, language, and perspective. Meanwhile, equity is the act of promoting justice, impartiality, and fairness within the procedures, process, program of distribution of resources in ensuring equal possible outcomes for every individual. And inclusion in this context means that the practice of ensuring that employees feel a sense of belonging in Bursa and behaviors to respond to people in order to ensure that individual are met and feel that and they feel included, engaged, and connected within the workplace activity. Okay, so scope, this is applicable for the employees of Bursa and then including such person who are in contract, means that everyone, okay, attachment or any person by whatever description under supervision of Bursa. A diverse group of employees shall be able to provide the necessary range of perspective, experience, and expertise required. And then uh, okay, so this will impact, okay, in terms of career opportunity, training and development, recruitment, compensation and benefit, talent identification. So we are going to talk about this later. Okay, talent identification, because it starts from the recruitment itself to identify so that you don't put a certain characteristic ataupun a certain quota lah when you want to hire. And for example, like you are looking for, you dah tetapkan quota nak cari semua employee Malay, so it's not that good lah kalau macam tu kan. But we can discuss later, okay, what we can discuss later about there is one issue lah. I think in every class mesti akan ada orang tanya, so let me ask you guys after this. And then retention and performance management, promotion, job assignments. I'm sure that you at one time like kan have felt like why luaskan scope. I'm not just talking about gender now. I'm talking about other things. Okay. In terms of job assignments, maybe you notice that kerja yang best ke ataupun assignment yang can really grow you, you can learn everything and a lot of things, but maybe it will not given to you, or it was given to someone else, or only given to you, not to someone else. There is no fairness in job assignments, kan? So an ethical company must make sure that all aspects, okay, when practicing diversity, equity, and inclusion, it includes as well in terms of job assignments. Okay, you can select people based on merits, and that it's okay. If that's the case, based on performance, based on merit, based on a certain specialized skill that employee possess, then it's okay. Okay, I'm talking about yang mana all the same qualification, similar level, okay, for, and that it is so obvious there is a favoritism going on in that company. So that one is not okay lah. And then in terms of succession planning as well and other engagement activity. So what they do, basically I dah sampai ke review and assessment dah. Okay, what they will assess, how they will assess this is they will do a periodically measure progress of the policy according to regular reporting and analysis, and as and when the need arises. Okay? And then they will make sure that it's the measurable objectives are remain effective and relevant for Bursa. And lastly, to ensure that DEI is applied in overall people practice for all levels, inclusive board and senior management without regard to these traits ataupun these characteristics. Okay, so this is the example of policy that is practices in Bursa Malaysia. The rest here is actually it's in Bahasa. This is from MCCG kot tadi. Okay, this one is the guideline on corporate governance Malaysia by SC. Okay, by SC Malaysia. Page berapa tadi? um, but this is in Bahasa. I wanted to show you the okay. So the role of bot. Okay, this I'm not going to read all of this. Just as example, I will give it here. Okay. So the first one is about the kepimpinan dan keberkesanan lembaga pengarah. So the board of directors leadership. Okay, the role of the lembaga pengarah. Okay, so to make sure that to practice their fiduciary duty. Okay, fiduciary duty meaning that you have to act on the best interest of your company, the best interest of your shareholders, and then you can see here some of the practices must to make sure that they have a strategic objective, strategic planning, and then must practice good corporate governance. And then I wanted to talk about it mentioned here about you can see here practices about must have code of conduct, okay, ataupun code of ethics, code of conduct and ethics for your company, for conflict management, right, to conflict of interest management, to to prevent any abuse of power, corruptions, and then inside trade, and also money laundering lah. And so this must be must be communicated to your employee and also need to be uploaded in website. Okay. Mana tadi ya? Okay, this one, right? And another thing is we are talking about the board of directors composition. Okay, so when we talk about diversity, take a look at the board of directors composition. So it must have people ataupun it must have directors from various background, right? Not only because you need, for the sake of the company, you need people, you need employee, you need directors that is from every perspective. Okay, different kind of skill, different kind of knowledge. Because at least here you can see that this one is memang the policy you have berapa two-third of the shareholders must be independent shareholder board of directors and independent shareholders kan, so that one is the policy lah. And then make sure that these are the all board of governance punya practices lah, okay, in order for you to appoint must be on the time basis. You can renew the tenure, but make sure that you have to go to the ada yang one tier punya evaluation, ada yang second tier punya evaluation, and then the rest, okay, and must have a good justification for that in order for you to keep on hiring, keep on appoint, kita panggil appoint a board of director yang lepas daripada 13 tahun dan seterusnya. You need to have a strong justification right? Alasan yang kukuh untuk mendapatkan kelulusan for to be appointed again, okay? And then must undergo through two-tier punya process. Okay, so let's take a look at this is Mr. DIY. Okay, Mr. DIY has been awarded by siapa tak ingat, but the best management ataupun the best ialah takbir urus, okay, in Malaysia. So let's take a look at what they do. Okay, so you can see here, as has been practiced since inception, we prioritize the hiring of Malaysians. So this one, I think, for social responsibility towards Malaysian. Our local workforce today stands at 84% of total staff strength. And as an inclusive employer, we do not discriminate between nationalities. According to all employees, the same pay scale, benefit, rewards, and privilege. Okay, and then they mentioned about, for example, like training, we invested more than 359 thousand hours in training across all levels, okay, benefiting more than 18,000 employees. To demonstrate our continued commitment not to just develop our retail workforce, but also as one of the largest employers to contribute a skilled and knowledgeable retail industry as a whole. And then they do employee satisfaction survey, career development opportunities, as well as compensation. And then we found out that during the survey, they found out that 91% of our employees are happy working at Mr. DIY. So that's a good number lah, kan? And then you can see lah other things that they do here. And let's take a look at the profile of board of directors. So for mana dia punya, let me see if they have the apa mana tu, the summary. Tak ada okay, tak ada summary. Kena baca lah satu-satu, okay, but I'm not going to read all the skill here. But we can see that at least from 6 of them, right, balance lah, 3 female, and in terms of age, basically not too diverse, right, not too diverse in terms of age. There is no 40 something, right, most probably because of the experience that they hold. Nampak dekat sini lah. So for qualification, Dato' Hamidah binti Naziadin is from law. This one is for financial planning, and this one is accounting, and then business administration, physics, and accountants, right? Accounting, sorry. So you can see that must have a very good working experience board of Majlis Sukan Negara. It has memang a lot of experience and skill lah. Okay. Here. Okay. So code of ethics, right? The board is guided by the director codes of ethics, which is embedded in the board charter, to act in good faith and in the best interest of the company, to observe the highest standard of CG at all time. I think apa orang panggil tu, it's standard wording for this. So you can see ni nak tengok tadi. Okay, this is the board composition. So you can see here skill set, right? You can see from the 6 person, they have a lot of skills here, strategy and entrepreneurship. 90% of them have that skill, and then they also have someone that is very good in terms of IT and cybersecurity. in terms of general business and economic, human resource, and then accounting, financial reporting. If I'm not mistaken, tadi lagi ramai dekat sini kan, accounting. And then for legal regulatory requirements, so you can see that a lot of skills can contribute to better organization performance. And then board balance and composition, the independent director, 67, this is based on the policy atau requirement, balance between men and women in terms of age, not to, okay lah kan, 51, 55, because board of directors is someone with a lot of experience, so it's quite difficult to find younger unless that they started very young. But I have found when I go through the apa tu nama this annual report, I think the youngest one that I found is 34 years old, if I'm not mistaken, 34 years old ataupun 35 years old. It has become a board of director PLC lah, which is quite amazing. Okay, so let's take a look at how a board can embrace diversity. Okay, sorry, apa tu? Okay, so the first one is to understand and explore the diversity of thought and experience of the board. So to embrace diversity, the board must recognize the value of diverse perspective and experience first. This involves like actively you have to seek to understand different background and skill of your current and also potential board members. Okay, potential board members. That's why by when you do this, so you can get a wider range of people, wider range of experience, knowledge, and so on. And then ensure that the organization push for diversity and inclusion is a strategy and commercial imperative. So this is not just to practice the management fact, but you have to really believe this. It's not just for to show, but it should be included as something that is very important lah dekat you punya company. Must be aligned with your corporate goal, must be aligned with your objective, and then make it your culture instead of just for the sake of taking part in management trends. Look critically at the culture in the boardroom. Okay, so if there is any barriers, right, you have to take care of that. Any barriers of inclusion, so you have to address the barriers. So take a look at what are the norms, behavior of your directors, and then take a look at the practices. If there are misconduct and ethical, so must take action immediately, right? And then not to make it as a culture. Review nomination and succession planning process for all board members, okay, to avoid any apa orang panggil tu misuse of power ataupun having a lot of power to control, kan? Because when we talk about corporate governance, it shouldn't be someone who have an absolute power ataupun absolute control. Okay, it is supposed to be it is a separation between control and ownership. It doesn't mean that you are major shareholders ataupun you are the owner of the company and then you can have all the power, all the control, and you can unethically influence the decision of board members. Then, so we have in a company you have to review nomination succession planning process. Like I've mentioned, this include potential board as well. Look critically at the individual roles assigned to board members, right? Make sure that all voices are heard, all voices are valued, and then this is how to get more perspective, more insights. Okay, learn from the experience of improving gender balance, right? And learn from experience other sector. communicate and understand company stakeholder, actively listen and respond to them, communicate aims and milestones internally and externally, learn from more challenging board evaluation, recognize inequality and racism as systematic risk to the economy. Okay, another thing that is one example. Okay, Microsoft. Microsoft is a very good example when we talk about diversity because they practice apa orang panggil tu, they practice a very good BI lah untuk dalam company run. So if you read here, let me share to you first. Okay, Microsoft culture is grounded and growth mindset. This means everyone is on a continuous journey to learn and grow. So they have our employee listening system. They have that, and that enable to gather feedback directly from our workforce to inform our programs and employee needs globally. Okay, so they do have survey as well, employee signal survey, covers a variety of topics such as thriving, inclusion, team culture, well-being, and learning and development. So you can, if this is not practiced in your company, you might suggest, okay, to have like this one lah, employee signal surveys, maybe a similar practice, okay, application, but different name. We also collect daily signals employee survey response, giving us real-time insight on ways we can support our employees, right? And then in addition of employee signal and daily signal survey, they gain insight through onboarding, exit survey, internal Viva engage channel, employee Q&A session, and our internal Ask HR service support. Okay. Do you have that in your siapa yang kalau government I'm not sure, but for private sector, do your company have that Ask HR service support? It, in Uniraza, in my organization, I think I have read that, but I never Ask HR. Ada tak? Tak ada. But ada, I think ada. Okay, we do have that like a service support for if you want to ask anything. So you have a platform, you have a hotline, you have a channel to do that. Okay, internal Ask HR service support. So Microsoft, they do have that. And then diversity and inclusions are core to their business model. You can see like quite different Ini company yang daripada Western. I dah bagi you example from two companies here in Malaysia. Bursa dengan Mr. DIY. But you can see here dia tambah lagi kan kalau misalnya dekat Western company, we support multiple highly active employee resources group for women, families, and then military, disability, of course, people who identify as LGBTQIA+. Oh my God, that's so long. Okay, so but we didn't see that, okay, in Malaysian company because Malaysia, we don't encourage this, okay. This is where problem ataupun bukan problem, this is where a lot of voices, okay, activists, social movement groups, they are fighting for this right. Because something, okay, this is where international business punya factor lah kan, when you do businesses in country that is not promoting such practices, it's very apa orang panggil tu, it's quite difficult for you to see this lah in their policy. Okay. Meanwhile, for a company yang do acknowledge, okay, and then they have a positive promotion, they are positive apa orang panggil? Positive attitude, okay, towards human, so-called human right. Okay, this is what activists mention, like human right. So you can see this in their policy. Okay. And then as described in our 2022 proxy statement, annual report, and so on. Okay. To ensure accountability over time, we publicly disclose our progress on a multitude workforce metrics. Okay, so detailed background of gender, racial, so they are being very transparent, and then publicly disclose their progress, okay, on these traits, which is good, all right, which is good to show their commitment in diversity, in hiring diversity, inclusion, and then they have equal employment opportunity report, disability representation, which is very good, can. I have read one article. Okay, one article. They do a research here lah dekat Malaysia. They do a research on how disabled people feel about working here in Malaysia. Okay, what kind of discrimination that they face. Um, but actually, that research lah, that one research and that I read, right? They don't face discrimination in hiring, but they do face discrimination on the facility. Maksudnya dekat sini facility tu tak mesra kan? Not here in Malaysia, it's not that disability friendly. For example, it can be as easy as parking lah. Okay, parking. Okay, you pun ada orang nak curi. Bukan curi, I mean ada orang nak park dekat situ kan. So their facilities, their right there is being exploit ataupun is being used for different reason. And then when they say that in terms of hiring, they don't face difficulty on that. A lot of companies are hiring, but they don't have facilities for that. For example, if mute kan, mute ataupun deaf, people okay hiring them, but there is no opportunity, there is no facilities for other employees to engage, to work with them, to understand what they are speaking, things like that. And I think one of the good example, Grab, okay, Grab and McDonald's lah, okay, but McDonald's tu dia memang worldwide kan, but Grab is Malaysian company, Malaysian company. They do hire ataupun they provide opportunities for disabled people to work as a driver. And then you can see when you go into the car, ada signage, and then they make it and then as well dekat dalam apps, they told that your driver is mute ke apa kan. So I think it's very good to first is to hire them, right, to give opportunity for them. And then the second one is it's very good because you have macam nak cakap, you outline that to your customer, so your customer knows about it. Lepas tu dekat dalam car you have like a special sign kan. So I think it's very good. I ada satu cerita pasal Grab, tapi I think it's not relevant at all to this to this class. But whenever that I use Grab as my example, I always remember to this satu kejadian ni yang dah happens like I think 10 years ago. But bila I fikir sampai sekarang lagi, it's like a mystery. Okay, I tak tahu lah sama ada the rider to deaf or mute or anything kan, but it's okay. And then next is they have a pay equity. Okay, pay equity, see details below. Okay, pay equity meaning that it's actually a principle. It's a principle that you compensate your employee fairly, equally, and for performing the equal value of work. Okay, tak kisah you are from origin ataupun nationality. This is what Mr. DIY is doing previously kan. You nampak dekat dalam dia punya annual report, it mentioned that pay equally does whether local talent ataupun daripada luar negara. So pay equity involve like equal pay for equal work, and then must be transparent. Okay, must be transparent. You can see over here. In 2022, we reported that all racial and ethnic minority employees in the US combined earn 1.008 for every one earned by their white counterparts, and that women in the US earn 1.007 to every $1 earned by their counterparts who are men, and women outside US is 1.002 for every $1 earned by their counterparts outside US who are men. Okay, so they are being very transparent about the pay, and you can see in terms of apa tu, equal pay for work of equal value. In addition, we begin reporting on an unadjusted median pay in our annual report, comparing total pay amount of all employees regardless of factors such as job title, level, or tenure. And then the rest of it is well-being in hybrid work. Okay, so they committed in supporting their employees' well-being while they are at work and in their personal life. And then in terms of training and development, they provide a range of learning opportunities, including personalized opportunity to our internal and external learning portals. All Microsoft employees globally access our single Viva learning tool for both required and personal choice learning. This includes courses focused on core principle and compliance matters such as business conduct, privacy, security foundation, and harassment prevention. So they have over 27,000 people manager, of all who must complete between 20 to 30 hours compulsory training on leadership and management, and assign additional targeted training on an ongoing basis. Okay, so this is very good. All right, when you want to, you want your manager to be good at leadership and management skill, and also to be updated. So you send them training on ongoing basis. And the rest are here lah. Okay, so vulnerability in diversity. I teruskan je lah, kita tak payah rehat so we can finish earlier. Ada apa lagi tak? Tak kasih. Tak ada. Alright, so let's I have shown you. Okay, let me ask the question lah. What do you think about employment? Okay, in Malaysia, does discrimination happens in employment in Malaysia? If yes, why? If no, why?
Yes.
Why? Bangladeshi. Okay.
Personal preference lah, Miss.
Personal
Contohnya lah. Saya ambil contoh. Mungkin kontroversi jugalah, kan. Selalu kalau katakan dalam certain hiring tu, dia akan cari Mandarin speaker or certain language punya speaker only, kan. Then when we ask in detail why, nanti dia akan cakap lah, because we are comfortable to work with people who can communicate in the same language, and then because kita ada business overseas yang memerlukan certain language profession, kan, macam tu lah. Itu salah satu contoh lah, Ada lain ialah because maybe sedara mara kabel ke whatever macam tu lah. And then towards that, in the end, kalau katakan dia hire juga somebody that is less preferred, mungkin the treatment tu will be different jugalah. Okay, dia ni anak tiri, so I won't treat you properly lah. Mungkin you the last person that I want to talk about ke, you the last person that I expect to finish this work ke whatever lah.
Exactly. Okay, yes. Mr. Mohan said that yes, favoritism still exists, right? And then
yes. Can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, I have to agree with Mohan. Mohan was talking just now, right? Sorry. Yeah. But I have to agree on everything, but except for the language thing. I think there's a reason why they need people with language usually because they have to work with the particular stakeholders that cannot really converse in our basic language. For example, like if you have to work with the Koreans, some Koreans they can't speak our language, English. Sorry, English. I think that's why. So I think that shouldn't be the shouldn't be part of the discrimination point.
Understood. Okay, so let's take a look at, jom kita try here. I tak tahu lah, I job street. Okay, let's see. Job street, give me any position, nak cari apa? Business development, contohlah business development manager. Okay. So kita buka. I'm not sure if boleh buka ke tak because dia kena sign in kan. Okay, boleh. So kalau kita just select a job here. Okay. Out of, kita try 5 jobs. Okay, kita try 5 jobs to see ada tak yang Mandarin speaker tu. Job description. Okay. Requirement. So ada tak? Requirement so far tak ada. Okay, it's good. One tak ada. But normally bila dah lama tak cari kerja kan. So assistant manager, Penang. Okay. Call center. Only strong communication skill or ada requirement. MBA. Okay, it's good. Ada. Tapi ada, I understand. Okay, let's just do a quick out of 5 lah. Okay, out of 5 berapa yang kita boleh jumpa job. Okay. Role required to deal with Mandarin. This is what I meant. Okay, and I think that Miss Amal meant as well. Role required to deal with Mandarin speaker client and team. So sekarang dia dah pandai sikit tau. Dulu tak ada ni. Okay, they don't do this. Dulu dia akan cakap je able to converse in Mandarin. And then now I can see that a lot of advertisement lah. Okay, dah start ada because of this role required to deal with Mandarin. Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Tapi
Okay,
Miss,
uh-huh.
tapi although dia put semua-semua macam ni kan, the real question is, although we can fulfill the requirement tu, for example lah, I can speak Korea kan, dia nak cari Korean speaker, tapi dia still tak hire kita.
Dia still tak hire kan, because maybe orang panggil preference to a certain races ataupun ethnic. Understood, yes, because it is actually a problem. Okay, let me show you. A study conducted by macam mana I nak search ni apa nama dia? Okay, yeah, this is the study. So that apparently there is a research that happens, this one ni like berapa? Tahun berapa? 2016 kot. Okay, and this is what happened lah. Ya, screen I kecil sangat, I tak dapat nak baca because there are too many on my screen. Okay. So this paper investigate a racial discrimination in hiring fresh degree graduates in Malaysia through a field experiment. Okay, so what they do is to, in this research, they send fake resume. Okay, they send fake resume of tapi if I'm not mistaken, semua this one is different study lah, but you get my point. Ada yang satu lagi tu dia include Indians sekali, okay? So Applicants fluent in Chinese fare better and Chinese control and foreign take kat sini je lah. Okay, the research sent over 3,000 fake resume divided into 4 category. Above average Malay, above average Chinese, below average Malay, and below average Chinese. And then CGPA were randomly assigned language, technical skills, send the resume job to job vacancy in finance and engineering sector, did not include other races. Okay. So the finding found out that above average applicants get more callbacks than below average applicant. Interestingly, I'm sorry, above average Malay have lower callback rate than below average Chinese. So that is one of the significant result. Showed that Chinese resume received 22.1 callback rate on average. Meanwhile, Malay resume only received 4.2 callback rate on average. Okay. Malay applicants for engineering job get lowest callback at 2.9. Malay graduate from private university get the lowest callback. Showed that Utah graduates got higher callback rates, but there is no penalty for UITM degrees. Malay resume stating proficiency in Chinese get higher callback rates. English and Malay proficiency and good English in cover letter have negligible impact on call rates. Calculated callback, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what caused this? Cultural compatibility and language ability matters. So employers with predominantly Chinese employees perceive that Malays are less likely to take job offered anyway or quit within a few months, as Malay have tendency to feel uncomfortable to these settings. My first real job, I'm the only one Malay in my team. But even though it is full of Chinese and several Indians, but all Chinese pun macam banana juga kan. So I feel comfortable in that team because we are talking in English. They don't use any other language so that I won't feel like what are they talking about. Okay, and then yeah, that is my first real job after I finished my degree lah. Okay, it started like for fun. Okay, my boss said that it's okay, join us. It's a pocket money for you while you are doing your master degree. And then I said okay. And then they understand that I'm still studying. Lepas tu when I finish, that's why I lambat sikit jadi lecturer. Okay, because I stuck with them, stuck with that very good company until it doesn't anymore. Okay, Malay applicants are negatively prejudged, okay, because of the certain stereotypes ataupun previous experience from the employer. This explains why below average Chinese get higher callback rather than above average Malays. No conclusive reasons are given except the negative stereotypes, okay, and so on. So this is but the one that I want to show you is including all the 3 races, and not only that, it includes as well as religion. Tapi tak jumpa because it happens like quite some time ago, that study. If I found it, then nanti I akan letak dekat dalam Euros, because this one is semua yang recent kan. It's about our graduates. That results is really shocking. It's really shocking because they do the same thing, send fake resume, and then it's very shocking that if you are a Malay female and then you wear hijab, you have like lowest callback. It is something that is not good lah, okay, in our country if we do that. Tapi itu long time ago, so now I haven't found similar studies now. I think they should have that. Okay, tadi I nak cakap pasal apa? Discrimination. Yeah, I wanted to share about that lah, that study. It's not here. Okay, next is let's take a look at okay. Ada sesuatu lagi nak share experience customer service? Oh, I have this one article, one article about in retail. Okay, in retail, discrimination in retail industry. I'm going to put it in your Europe later so you can read that. They do a research on diversity in retail industry. Okay. Mandarin speaker usually call center customer service. It's a part of culture, yeah. Okay, part of culture because of the stereotypes. That's why if companies, a lot of companies keep on doing that, diversify, diversify, blah, employed from diverse background, and then it can lead to when scholars make a research during the survey, so people can finally see that hiring people from diverse background is actually impact your productivity. By untuk dapatkan good communication dekat workplace just because of a certain race, maybe not the best practice to get higher performance. Right? It make it easier, I believe so. Yes. All right. It is easier to people to converse. God knows how it's very difficult to to talk, lagi-lagi kalau itu bukan bahasa kita kan. Even in education as well, in education you memang takkan jumpa lah unless you are in university yang, for example, for Xiamen University, memang kita tahu the customer, the prospect memang Chinese, okay, from China pun lagi ramai kan. So you can expect that to see a majority of race over there, and then when you join, so kalau you complain itu memang macam tak masuk akal lah kan. But let's say if in Uniraza, in UKM, apa lagi Segi, Taylors, it shouldn't be that way lah, okay. It shouldn't be you punya workforce is only targeted towards one race. Okay, even dekat my previous employments pun, we talk with we hire, okay, in business, especially in business punya department kan, from various countries, daripada selatan ke apa daripada western to eastern, all nationality ada kan. So yes, it's quite difficult to not only to communicate, but to make them understand that this is our culture, this is the way of we doing work, and so on. However, the ideas that we get from it, the insight, and then once the participation can be nurtured, ataupun we can get their we can get they commit to participate with us, so it works better, right? I think language is just a small barrier lah. If you nak, why don't you hire people and then you provide training lah kan, for speaking Mandarin, for example. Isn't it like you are providing something new kan to the employee? Learn Korean, learn Japanese language. But I guess that it's too, it takes time, okay, time consuming to train staff and so on. Okay. But this is all theory ataupun this is in general lah kan. Give whatever that we have learned in this class, whatever that we have learned from the research, from the scholars, academic, and so on, it provides a picture, okay, about the results if you implement this, if you are take a look at these factors, you are taking these forces and then this is the result that you might experience in your company. It might provide a similar experience, similar results in your company. Okay, so we have talked about the example company yang have done a good job in providing inclusivity, equity, and so on. But in this example, in this website, it shows that other industry yang, you know, it's least diverse. Okay? These are the 8 least diverse industry and how you can change that. So, kita terus pergi je lah kan. So, each industry now falling behind in diversity, equity, and inclusion, making them least diverse tech industry. So for tech, STEM, healthcare, finance, law, construction and manufacturing, armed force, and professional sport. So tech here, we can see that with men occupying 75% of computer science position. Okay, I have one story about this. Recently, my friend, she had a problem with her PC. Bukan PC lah. She had a problem with the server. Okay, this is civil servant. She's using. I'll get to my point later. Okay, let me tell the story first. Okay, so she's using a server that is, she's alone using that server in her computer. And the rest of the employee, the rest of dia punya subordinates are using different server. So when she wants to enter the specific website lah, okay, I'm not sure what it is. It must use that server, at that particular server that she has, okay, yang mana orang lain tak boleh go through using their computer. So whenever needed, they will go to the computer and then they will do their job. So my friend kena bangun lah kan, kena bangun, kena pergi tukar tempat duduk while waiting for the subordinates to do the job, which is not good, all right, not productive at all. So then she asked me, okay, do you have any idea how that I can can make others other computer use the same server like I have now. Lepas tu I cakap lah, manalah I tahu kan, because I'm not that good in computer, benda-benda simple I can lah assess you, but assist you, but this one it's out of my league lah, I cakap. And then I cakap kat dia, why don't you call your technician, right? Mestilah your government ataupun your department mesti ada technician ataupun IT people kan, the apa FA, if I'm not mistaken, apa tah dia punya grade kan. And then she mentioned this. Dia cakap, oh, we just received a new technician. Yang old technician tu memang bagus, okay, but this new technician I want to call. Then I said, cakap, kenapa? Do you know him or her kan? Dia cakap, oh, it's a her. So kalau her ni memang tak boleh punya buat kerja. So dekat situ kan, you can see stereotype. Oh my god, stereotype. As dia kata, kalau lelaki pun tak tahu, takkan yang perempuan pun tahu. So that's not, I mean, that's not very good, right? But yes, because of this stereotype, you can see that with men occupying 75%, just because maybe we have this mentality bila nak hiring process, okay? Women are not good with computer, so therefore we hire a lot of men. Or it starts with, tapi dekat university, okay, dekat university we can still see a lot of female student and in computer science. Ramai je computer science semua kan. But when it comes to job, technician ke apa ke, we can see a lot of male worker. But I know in some of my previous colleague, he working in IT, female lah, which is very good. Okay, but tech is one of the industry that hire men compared to women. White employees in 62% of this role, and you'll have hard time finding diverse tech team. This industry is non-inclusive environment and lack of diversity create a vicious cycle, pushing out individuals who feel underrepresented with their companies. Okay. So, both the public and private sector are taking steps to remedy inequality and lack of diversity in this industry. So they have a Girls Who Code and Code org to aim to educate young people on how to code and enter careers in computer science, especially women and from ethnic minority groups. So these are the initiative, okay, to get people to involve more. I think it's true as well, okay, when we read magazines, kalau misalnya perempuan berjaya dapatkan satu jawatan, for example in aviation, So it feels like very huge success, but it shouldn't be that way, right? That aviation, it's not apa panggil tu? It should be open for all. It shouldn't be like a real surprise. Okay? What's wrong with it? Kenapa man je yang boleh kan? So it shouldn't be that way. It should be more and more people, more and more women in aviation, for example. And then in her side, help job seeking women find tech companies that match certain criteria, like having women in leadership role. Dekat Uni Razak pun IT, if I'm not mistaken pun semua lelaki. Ada ke perempuan? I'm not sure. And then STEM. Okay, STEM. Black and Hispanic workers remain underrepresented in STEM field, and women make up around a quarter of computing and engineering position. Right? So they do have the Association for Women in Science, Women in Engineering Proactive Network, the National Girls Collaborative Project, which aim to create more opportunities for women in STEM career. Healthcare. While women are generally underrepresented in STEM, they make up almost 3/4 of healthcare practitioners and technicians. However, it's not all blue skies here either. Okay, for example, like diversity is in terms of majority of nursing role are filled by women. The median salary for a male nurse is 40,000 higher than for a female nurse. Walaupun diorang tak ramai kan, even the fact that 9 in 10 nurses are women, but the median salary for male nurse is 14,000 higher than female nurses. Finance. Okay, another problematic sector in terms of diversity. You'll see some of the worst DE&I numbers in the financial sector, and it is mainly all older white males operating at senior level. 64% corporate leadership position in finance, with just 23% of this role occupied by white women and mere 4% by Black, Latina, and Asian women. Okay, and then law. Okay, recently found that 81% of US lawyers are white. Hispanic people make up just 5.8% of legal professionals, and Black lawyers account for 4.5% of the industry. Okay, this one is in the Western number. Construction and manufacturing. Black workers make up 6.7% and 10.8% of the construction and manufacturing industry respectively, which falls below the group overall representation in the US labor force. Okay, so they have a number ataupun targeted number of representation in US labor force. I haven't seen it for Malaysia percentage. Overall representation. Okay, it's something that we can take a look at after this. Armed force, of course, the lack of gender diversity. Okay, and then for professional sports, this is regarding the pay gap. Okay, not for just professional sport, but many of other industry, for example, like entertainment as well, in healthcare, in corporate, pun sama je. Okay, we have this gender pay gap in professional sport. While the average women in National Basketball Association player earns around 100,000 per year, the average player take home 9 million. Oh my God, the gap is very huge. Even the highest earning women NBA player make under 230,000 annually, while the NBA highest paid athlete Stephen Curry is earning almost 15 million for 2022-2023 season. Ish. Okay, so 5 steps employers can take to improve diversity in this industry. If you are in HR and recruitment, you have the power to remedy the situation, starting with your own company. Run a diversity survey This is what we have to take a look at before this, right? Companies like Microsoft, they make a survey to better understanding how diverse your organization is, to help you understand how your employees view your diversity and inclusion efforts as well. Okay. Take an honest look at the areas where you need to improve and learn whether your people feel your culture is inclusive. Promote diversity and inclusion in hiring by implementing a skill-based approach. Find and reach out to organizations in your industry that advocate for diversity and inclusion in the workforce. Partner with them to create outreach and educational programs. Reach out directly to, I tak hantar kat you ni. Reach out directly to underrepresented groups or those in undeserved community. Address implicit bias in organization. Okay. Implicit bias training isn't enough when used in isolation ataupun one-off initiative. In order for it to be effective, it should be combined with other actions and ongoing basis. Lastly, expose. So this is quite recent, tahun lepas. Big brands like Nike and Amazon abandoning DEI. Okay. For decades, brands believing hiring a diverse workforce was enough and met their legally mandated goals mostly out of necessity, right? Not as part of their strategic business plan. Firms have long relied on diversity training to reduce bias on the job, hiring tests, and performance rating to limit it in recruitment and promotion, and driven system to give employees a way to challenge managers. Those tools are designed to preempt lawsuit by policing managers' thought and action, yet laboratory studies show that this kind of force feeding can activate bias rather than stem it out. Okay, and then you can read the rest of it, the benefit of DEI. Okay, while more and big companies like Nike, Walmart, never been a better time to distinguish yourself from your competitors by reaffirming your commitment. Okay. I tak nak ulang this one. Okay. There is one thing that I want to show to you. Yeah, I think last one over here. What did I search just now? Sekejap eh. Okay. This one. Lastly, for today, so this is a guidance, all right? A guidance on for hiring process. Okay, for hiring process, because I mentioned that in order for us to have diverse workforce, so it should start with the hiring process. This is actually from the voluntary code of conduct for executive search firms this to follow across the search process. All right. So first of all, okay, when we talk about code of conduct, we talk about the board succession, the board composition. So in the board succession planning, they should support their nomination committees in developing succession plan and then must have, support nomination committees in developing a clear and appropriate targets for enhanced diversity in their senior executive role. Like I've mentioned to you, right? It's supposed to be this culture should start from the top, setting the culture at the beginning, at the top, so that it will echo to the lower level. And then mesti kena ada diversity goal. Okay, when taking a specific research, should abaikan yang ni take the guideline. Okay, but just abaikan for the firm. Look at overall the board of seniors executive composition, all right, and then you come with your set your goals in terms of gender ke, ethnic ke, lepas tu shortlist, and then in terms of candidate during the selection process, provide appropriate support to candidates, okay, in particular the first time one, to prepare them for interviews and guide them into get through the process and so on lah. Okay, so you can read all this as a guideline in hiring employees, and also to have a good board composition for your company. Okay, this is another example for Malaysia. Okay, equality and diversity inclusion policy. Basically, it's the same. They wanted to create a work environment that permits on equality, diversity, and inclusion, respect communication, teamwork, fairness, and equal access to opportunities and resources within the organization, and so on. Okay, I think that's all for today's class. It's quite short, only for 1.5 hours. Do you have anything to ask before we finish our class? I would like to remind you again that next week tak ada class, so I'm going to see you guys on Tuesday.